Hello, how are you today? It's a pleasure. Good morning, good morning. It's fun to be here now. Good morning. Good morning to you. Yes, qué valor. My God, so early in the morning. But al que madruga, o quien madruga, Dios le ayuda, dicen. Espero que sea verdad. I hope it's true, because that means God is helping me. But in my case, it's not God. It's Lady Luck. En Lady Luck. Se dice en inglés muchas veces la dama de la suerte. Lady Luck. Lady Luck me hace muchos favores. Yes. Yes, hasta me busca. Why? Because I have a positive attitude. I enjoy life. I approach life with a positive attitude. And Lady Luck notices that. She said, oh, este chico. Okay. And in the end, with ups and downs, there are ups and downs, but in the end, it goes up. If you have a positive outlook on life. Outlook is perspectiva. A positive outlook on life, positive attitudes, yes. And then Lady Luck will smile on you. She'll smile. Yes. Cuanto más curro, más suerte tengo. No sé por qué. I don't know why. The harder I work, the luckier I become. Expressions. All right. Page 126. Page 126, at the top. At the top. In the end. In the end. Al final. In the end. Al final murió hasta el apuntador. Yeah, in the end, everybody died. This was Hamlet, in Hamlet. All right, everybody. Okay. Hasta el apuntador, como decís aquí. Yeah. All right. I don't know how to say the apuntador. The person you know what it is, apuntador. Okay, in a theater, you have the stage, el escenario. In the middle of the stage, there's a little hole. And there's a man under the stage with the script of the play. So you see the stage, but then you see something strange in the middle. Near the front of the stage where the audience is. And that's a little man. It says, to be or not to be. To be or not to be. Es el apuntador. No lo sabías. Did you know that? Okay. And the expression, se muere hasta el apuntador, means everybody in the play dies, even the man who's to be or not to be. Okay. In the end, at the end, what's the difference? At the end is al final de una cola, de una línea, de un lo que sea. At the end of the war, al final de la guerra, at the end of the war, al final de esta clase, at the end of this class, es físicamente al final, al finalizar algo, at the end. In the end means in an análisis final. Al final del día, que se dice en inglés. At the end of the day. In the end means, en resumidas cuentas, al final, todos felices. O todos muertos. At the end. In the end. Y al final, ¿qué debo hacer? Al final, ante esta coyuntura. In the end, what should I do? In the end. Al final. Yes, tuvieron que negociar el precio, pero al final consiguieron lo que querían. But in the end, they got what they wanted. To get what you want. Okay, the second one on page 126. In the first place, desde el principio. In the first place, también es en primer lugar. In the first place, I want these pencils always. And secondly, segundamente, I always want to keep the microphone. Está al revés. No, toda la base está al revés. You see? We need to turn this around like this. There. Now, that's better, right? Yeah? In the end, I have to solve all the problems, right? I have to solve all the problems. Okay. In the first place, yes. In the first place, Si hubiera sabido, si yo lo hubiera sabido, no habría ido desde el principio. If I had known, if I had known, if I had known. If I had, if I had, if I had, Fayad, Fayad. Parece un rey árabe. Fayad, al-Fayad. If I had known, if I had known, I wouldn't have gone in the first place. No habría ido desde el principio. Yeah, if I had known, I wouldn't have gone in the first place. In the first place. En primer lugar. También significa en primer lugar. In the first place, en primer lugar, es cierto lo que dices, pero, okay, in the first place, in the first place. The next one, the third expression on page 126. In the grand scheme of things. Okay. Aquí dice desde el punto de vista general, o teniendo todo en cuenta, en el gran esquema de las cosas. Scheme, S-C-H-E-M-E, sheme, escrito, scheme. In the grand scheme of things means en el gran escenario del mundo y de las cosas, de los acontecimientos. In the grand scheme of things, the only thing that is important is love, right? Maybe. No, Richard. In the grand scheme of things, the only thing that is really important is money. Money, money, money. Money, 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 la, la, da, 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 money, 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 money. Maybe. No, Richard. In the grand scheme of things, the only thing that is real, authentic, is will. Will. Yes, la voluntad. Okay. Now, Richard, in the grand scheme of things, the only thing that's genuine and authentic is death. No. La muerte no. La vida. Yes. Yeah. We have to. Hay que entonar un canto a lo eterno del hombre. Imperecedero. Right? No. Yeah. Okay. In the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things, when you're speaking, you become philosophical. In the grand scheme of things, the only thing important is learning English. Yeah. Yes. El español es un ser que nace y muere y mientras tanto intenta aprender inglés. Dice algunos. All right. So, y Marta se ha mostrado interesada en dar clases ahora. Yeah. After listening to English for 13 years, now she's seriously going to try to learn the language. Okay. But she has a big advantage because she understands better than most people. Okay, in the grand scheme of things. And finally, in the heat of the moment. En el calor del momento. Okay. En un momento tenso. En el fragor de la discusión. In caliente. In the heat of the moment. Yeah, be careful. Because in the heat of the moment, you can say something that you regret. Ay, querida, lo siento. Lo dije en el calor del momento. Se entiende, ¿no? In the heat of the moment. In the heat of the moment. There's a very a very good movie called In the Heat of the Night. En el calor de la noche. With Sidney Poitier, the black American actor. And it was in 1968, and it won the Academy Award, the Best Picture, the Oscar, for the Best Picture. Dice Best Picture para la mejor película. Number one, it won the Academy Award. In the heat of the night, in the heat of the night. It takes place in a small town in Mississippi. All right. And if you haven't seen the movie, In the Heat of the Night, it's a very, very good movie. I saw it with my father. I was probably 15 years old. And my father and I don't remember why. It's strange for my father and I to go to see a movie. But I think my father wanted to see this movie. And this was in 1968. I was 16. I was 16 years old in 1968. So we went to the Tulsa Theater, which was not the best theater in the city. And we sat down. We bought the tickets at the box office, and we went into the movie theater. We sat down, y la película ya había empezado. Oh, it started already. We sat down, and it was very difficult to figure out what was happening. I said, Dad, do you understand what's happening? No. 3 minutes later, the film ended. We were watching the end of the movie, the previous session. Okay. Now we know, ahora sabemos qué pasó al final. And then we stayed, and 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, the session continua, the next session started. In the Heat of the Night. It's a very good movie. All right. Okay, we have finished page 126, which means we will start next time, in 2 days or 3 days, with page 127. In the meantime, mientras tanto, in the meantime, we will start with game fluency. And what page, I really don't know. Page 68. Microparagraph 601. Quedan 400. We have 400 paragraphs left. Yes, I wrote these paragraphs. 1,000 in 1 month or a month and a half. Paragraph, another paragraph. Okay. People who grow up, at the top of page 68, people who grow up in the mountains never feel at home on the plains. Yes. On the plains, en las llanuras, en las mesetas, en las el llano. El llano en llamas. ¿Te suena? No? Okay. El llano en llamas is a book of short stories by Juan Rulfo. Now, Juan Rulfo was a Mexican novelist who became very famous with a novel called Pedro Páramo. But his short story book, El Llano en Llamas, is also very, very good and very famous. All right. El llano, la llanura, la meseta, el altiplano, el altoplanicie. There's a lot of words for the same thing. Those are the plains. The Plains Indians, plain, escrito. The rain in Spain is mainly in the plain. You remember My Fair Lady? ¿Te acuerdas? My Fair Lady, or Pygmalion. My Fair Lady is a movie taken from the play by George Bernard Shaw called Pygmalion. And Pygmalion is based on a bet, una apuesta, between two sophisticated aristocratic Londoners or Englishmen, and they meet a flower girl. A flower girl is una mujer que vende flores en la calle from the Cockney area of London, and she has very ugly speech. I want you that. And they make a bet because one of them is a linguist. And he says, I'm going to teach her how to speak properly. And so they make a bet. And the rest of the play is the relationship between Henry Higgins, the linguist, how do you say? A speech therapist, un logopeda de alto nivel. And this flower girl, this is a pencil. I have the pencil in my hand. Oh, a lot of work. But he transforms her into a sophisticated, beautiful. Well, he falls in love. Se enamora de ella. They fall in love. All right. That's Pygmalion. It comes from the Greek myth, un mito griego, from 2,500 years before. Pygmalion is the story of a sculptor who's sculpting, and he sculpts the body of a beautiful woman. He falls in love with the statue. And every morning when he goes to his studio for sculpting, he embraces the statue and kisses the statue because he's in love with the statue. And in the end, because of the authenticity of his love, the statue transforms into a real woman. Okay, that's the story of Pygmalion. And so that George Bernard Shaw took the concept of the statue and transferred it to London, you see, and transferred the story from a statue into a flower girl. And he transforms the flower girl and falls in love. And she falls in love. That was taken to the movie My Fair Lady. They changed the name from Pygmalion to My Fair Lady. And of course, My Fair Lady is a musical. And Henry Higgins is teaching Eliza Doolittle how to pronounce the vowels correctly, los vocales. In English, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. However, the Cockneys say I, E, I, O, U. And so he's teaching her A, la primera letra, A, I, A. He says, the rain in Spain is mainly, mayormente en la llanura. La lluvia en España es mayormente en la llanura. The rain in Spain is mainly in the plain, que no es verdad, es en la montaña, but it doesn't matter. All right. The rain in Spain is mainly on the plain. Escrito, repito, plain, the plain. And the Plains Indians, los Sioux, los Arapaho, los Cheyennes, these are the Plains Indians. Like in Bailando con Lobos, ¿te acuerdas? Eso es la llanura. Those are the Great Plains in the United States. And the Plains Indians were the Indian tribes that lived on the Great Plains hunting the buffalo. All right. So people who grow up in the mountains never feel at home on the plains. Me? I grew up on the plains. I enjoy visiting the mountains, but when I drive through the flatlands, I feel at home. This is cierto. This is my case. People who grow up in the mountains never feel at home on the plains. To feel at home. Yeah. To feel at home, te sientes como tú estás en tu hogar. But people who grow up in the mountains, they never feel comfortable living on the plains. For example, if a person grows up in Cangas de Onís, near the Picos de Europa, or in Potes, okay, or in Panes, in the Picos. And then that person moves to Medina del Campo. My God, it's a strange sensation, all right? And so that person never feels at home. They never feel at home on the plains. Now me, I grew up on the plains. Yes, I like the mountains. I enjoyed visiting the mountains, but when I drive through the plains, the flatlands, que es lo mismo, flat is llano, los llanos, las llanuras, the flatlands, tierras planas, the flatlands, when I drive through the flatlands, I feel at home. Me siento en casa. It's true. I grew up in Houston, Texas, the first 9 years. And that is what they call La Vega Costera. Just flat, completely flat. Completely flat, como la albufera aquí. All right, completely flat. And the first time I saw a mountain in my life, the first time I saw a mountain, a real mountain, wow, I was 10 years old. 10 años sin ver montaña en mi vida. Well, some people never see the ocean. I'm sure there's some people living in the province of Soria or Valladolid or Segovia who've never seen a mountain. Have never seen the ocean. They've never gone. All right. But in any case, people who grow up, la gente que se cría, who grow up, people who grow up, to grow is crecer. Ahora, to grow up es criarse o hacerse mayor. Okay. Cuando sea mayor, quiero ser jugador de béisbol. When I grow up, I want to be a baseball player. Okay, people who grow up in the mountains never feel at home on the plains. Me, I grew up on the plains. I enjoy visiting the mountains, but when I drive through the flatlands, the plains, I really feel at home. Okay, the next paragraph number 602 on page 68. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm in the swimming pool. Estoy en una piscina, a swimming pool, and I don't know how to swim. Okay. In the swimming pool, you have the shallow end and the deep end. La parte que no cubre y la parte profunda. La parte que no cubre. No tenéis una palabra mejor. We say el extremo somero y el extremo profundo. Okay. Shallow is somero, superficial. Shallow personality is personalidad superficial. Pero físicamente es somero, poco profundo. Shallow end and the deep end. So, I got into the shallow end and started walking. And the swimming pool gets deeper and deeper as you walk. And I'm walking, the water is here, and I continue walking. And a person says, you okay? I'm okay. The water comes up to my neck. So I can still touch the bottom. El fondo, el suelo de piscina siempre se dice bottom, como fondo. Puedo tocar el fondo, tengo que tocar el fondo. My children, when they were growing up, they spoke perfect English. But they made funny mistakes with vocabulary. Like, I can touch the floor. Puedo tocar el suelo. And I say, no, Jack or Andrea. The floor, no. You can touch the bottom. The bottom. In the swimming pool, it's the bottom. Voyage to the bottom of the sea. Viaje al fondo del mar. Voyage to the bottom of the sea. Yeah. Yes. My lawyer, I have a lawyer, in Texas, who handles my U.S. tax questions. And his wife is a Spanish teacher in primary school. But her Spanish is not perfect. But it's enough for primary school. Okay. One time they came to Spain and they rented a car and they went around 2 weeks in Andalusia and Castilla-La Mancha, Toledo, etc. Came back to Madrid. And the wife asked me one question and made one. She said, todos los cuartos de baño en este país están al fondo. Se aprendió al fondo. Okay. Al fondo a la derecha, al fondo a la izquierda, al fondo. Okay. And the first question she asked me, she said, ¿qué significa cambio sentido? She was driving and says, cambio sentido. Okay, cambio sentido. Now they have a sign that, but before it always said cambio sentido, cambio sentido. That means, the próximo cruce hay un cambio de sentido. And change of sense? Maybe if it says cambio de dirección, maybe you can, change direction, maybe she would understand. Because in English we say U-turn, giro en U. U tiene sentido, giro en U. U-turn. But that's the first question. She said, Richard, what does cambio de sentido mean? And the second was, all the bathrooms are al fondo. All right. I'm okay. Tengo el agua al cuello, no? I can still touch the bottom. I can still touch the bottom. If I move a little further into the pool, I'll need to be careful. I still don't know how to swim. If I move a little further, más lejos is farther. Mars, el planeta, the planet Mars, is farther from the Earth. Is farther from the sun than the planet Earth. Further, con U en vez de A, también es más lejos. Mars is further from the sun than the Earth. I think it's correct. But we use further en sentido más figurado, un poco más hacia adentro, a little further. I have no further questions. I'll be back tomorrow.